My name is Mike Vaughn, and so the Crow trailer finally dropped, and I got some thoughts. Now, if you haven't checked out my previous videos on the Crow, I will link them in the description. But um, yeah, so a little while ago, we got first looks at what Bill Skarsgård's um, Crow is going to look like, his interpretation of Eric Draven. And the internet lost its collective shit. Like, nobody liked this. And yeah, that's a whole video that, like I said, I covered. Um, I'm still really shocked that James Obar hasn't made an official statement, as far as I know. And this video is just going to be a little less edited, not scripted. I just wanted to watch the trailer, give you my unfiltered opinions. So, yeah, let's get into it. As far as the look of the Crow, like as far as how it looks visually, I will say that there's shots that look really interesting in how they were shot, the shot compositions, the use of lighting. The Crow is a very atmospheric and brooding films. Well, the original 90s film is, of course, very brooding and atmospheric. And I think that's something that the director did incredibly well. Like, he really tapped into that kind of flavor of the comic series. Does this do the same? Yeah, I think it does in its own way. It's not trying to kind of shot by shot copy the 90s film. And it seems like it has its own sort of style, its own sensibility. Um, as far as how Bill Skarsgård looks as Eric Draven, I mean, y'all might hate me for this, but I kind of like it a little bit. I can just see the messages telling me I'm an idiot and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But just, hear me out. I think seeing stills is one thing. Seeing it, seeing actual footage and seeing how he looks in action is very different. And I think that it looks cool. Now, does it still look goofy as hell? Yes. Is that going to be a bridge too far for a lot of fans? Probably. Again, I talked in my last video about the marketing of this film and how it really didn't do itself any favors. Again, I think James Obar should have been out front and center talking about this, talking about how this is a more faithful adaptation than the 90s film. I don't know. And listen, I know there's so many ride or die fans for the 90s film, and I get it. I'm right there with you. As an angsty teen, I love this. The soundtrack is phenomenal. This is what turned me on to Nine Inch Nails, for God's sake. So, yeah, I have a very special place in my heart for the original film. And of course, Brandon Lee passing away um, really emotionally charges a lot of fans. And I get it. I don't think that's at all unreasonable. Um, if they would have been really smart, they would have just had him be a different Crow and not Eric Draven. Um, I can't imagine that in the writing room they didn't throw around this idea, but unfortunately they didn't. And I think a lot of people, just in principle, isn't on board. And again, that's your prerogative. Me, on the other hand, I'm willing to sort of give it a chance, but yeah, I don't know. So the trailer, it's interesting because we get a little bit more about why like what sets off these chains of events with Sarah. It almost feels like she kind of was in cahoots with some like shady characters and witnessed something that she wasn't supposed to. How I feel about this, I don't know. I kind of like the idea a little bit better on the original Crow, where it was, they were just tenants of you know, apartment that they wanted to clear people out of, and it adds more tragedy, and I don't know, there's a little bit more weight to it. Again, these are just my unfiltered initial thoughts. Um maybe I'm misinterpreting the trailer, but that's kind of what I gathered from this. I was actually surprised it was a pretty beefy trailer too, with a lot of footage. So that kind of pleasantly surprised me. But I don't know. The bad guys don't look that interesting. Everything looks very generic at times. I mean, it's a comic book movie. Why do we have to have it so? I don't know. Like Eve, I mean, the original Crow, the bad guys were awesome. They were over the top. They had that very comic book gritty kind of feel to it. And I did a video on the Crow City of Angels, which I think is a great underrated sequel. And again, those villains were so fucking awesome. I mean, again, do I have to reiterate that we get Iggy Pop as one of the baddies? Like, that's epic. But these just kind of, like, in this new trailer, they just kind of look like corporate suits. I don't know. I'm sure that there's way more to it than that, but from what I'm seeing, it's kind of just there, and I think it it makes me kind of wonder if, like, we're really scared of going a little bit over the top, or maybe being a little bit too earnest in certain aspects of the film. Again, like, the villains aren't these, I don't know, like, they don't have to be this over the top, like, frothing at the mouth lunatics from, like, RoboCop or something, but they should be memorable, you know what I mean? And what I'm seeing right now is just very, like, forgettable. And yeah, I'm judging a trailer. That's what you clicked on here for, but from what I'm seeing, it's just kind of so. But I want to know what y'all think. Do you think this looks awful? I know I got a lot of great responses from my last video. Um, should they have just made him a different Crow, not Eric Draven, but somebody else? Would that have been more respectful? I just think it's fascinating that this movie is finally coming out. It was interesting that there was no release date in this trailer. It was just a coming soon. Um, but yeah, I don't think the marketing's really doing itself any favors. I don't think this trailer looks awful. I think it overall does a really nice job, but yeah, visually it looks cool. Um, some of it just looks very bland, if I'm being just completely honest. But I don't know. I definitely want to know what y'all think. And I'm sorry this was a quicker video, but this trailer dropped, and I wanted to get this out today. It actually bumped another video that I was hoping to have out today, which will now be posted Monday. But having said that, please subscribe, because I've been trying to put out new, original, awesome content 3 days a week. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult, but I get there. I have some really great reviews coming up, and a really fun video essay that, again, this one sort of bumped up a little bit later, but you don't want to miss that. And as always, thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you on the next video.